welcome once again. My name is Jason Davis, and I am the past Volusia County Chair, and this is Empower Volusia Common Sense. That's right, we just talk about common sense. And we're coming to you from an undisclosed location hidden in an iron bunker in the highlands of West Volusia County. And we're guarded by 2 rabid Pomeranians and 1 crazy cat. Yes, we love the crazy cat. He's something else around here. But anyways, why did I tell you that I was the past Volusia County Chair? Well, because I'm here to tell you the truth about the budget.
You can't handle the truth!
And the truth is very hard to take sometimes because, well, you know, it hurts. And so let's just talk to you about this here for a minute. I'll explain as we go along here. What we're looking at is we're looking at an article written by Dustin Wyatt for the Daytona Beach News Journal. It was published on the 14th of July. And unfortunately, I did not get it, or a copy of it. And that's the weird thing. He publishes it on the 14th. The council meeting's on the 15th. Isn't that unique? Yeah, so who's got time to, once you read it in the morning, who's got time to run down to the county council and try to get in there and discuss this matter? So that's why we have this kind of a venue. Anyways, the Volusia, and I read now from Mr. Wyatt, the Volusia County Council will decide Tuesday if a slight tax increase is necessary to fund an overhaul of its ambulance operation, to give cost of living pay raises to 3,432 employees, and to help the county prepare for Amendment 10 and new costs associated with Sunrail, the dreaded Sunrail. Yes. So while the county staff is recommending no change in the tax rate of $5.69 per $1,000 of taxable home value, it will mean an overall increase of 6.75% because overall property values are on the rise, which is a great thing. Welcome to America. We're in a robust economy. Thank you, Mr. President Trump. And because of that, my personal house value has increased. I mean, oh my goodness, $80,000. That's pretty darn good. And I haven't lived here but 5 years. That's right. So anyways, the change would pump an extra $16 million into the county's general fund and leave some cushion for unforeseeable events like hurricanes. It would also fund safety improvements to the branch jail and the addition of 18 sheriff office employees. So, there you go. That's what's going to happen. This is a natural occurrence here. Now we quote from the county manager, George Recknewall, there are a lot of things coming at us, and as he told the News Journal's editorial board, one of the challenges coming into this year is the unknowns, and that can be a risky proposition. The unknowns, he mentions, are largely related to Amendment 10 and Sunrail. Now, let's just go down here to Amendment 10 real quick, okay? Amendment 10 was approved by the voters statewide, and it was done last year during the midterm elections. And it requires the Volusia County to set up constitutional officers. See, we're a charter county government, which means we are a manager-strong county government, which means that nothing happens unless the county manager wants it to happen. That's the truth about this charter government. Okay? But we're going to take certain elected officials and make them constitutional officers. They're going to be the sheriff, the property appraiser, the election supervisor, clerk of the court, and tax collector, and currently not even an elected, the tax collector position is not an elected position in Volusia County. It's not even a position in the county. We don't have a tax collector. When you pay your taxes, you just write a check to the government of Volusia County. Boom. Done. And you mail it in or you take it down there and you give it to them. That's right. We do that with our property taxes. Business owners do it with sales tax. And we also do it with our car tags, which is a tax, folks. It's a constant tax on a vehicle. I think we got to pay enough taxes. Well, these independent offices will have to be done in place before the year 2021. County officials are hopeful it doesn't wind up costing the $10 million they've originally predicted, but it's still unknown how big of a dent it will put on the county's wallet. And that's from Dustin Wyatt. What in the heck are you talking about? $10 million? Okay. Apparently, people in the county have no idea how to shop or where to shop. Okay, our last election cost $400, and this was the last one where the bogus sales tax came through that nobody wanted because it failed horribly, really horribly. They were hoping that all the snowbirds being gone, they would walk through this thing, but nobody wants to pay more taxes, folks. We pay enough. So, and that was back in, what was it, May? May that we had to do that election, that vote? Yeah, May. So we did this, and here we go. But now, because it failed, now that cost over $460,000 to print up all those ballots, to get them out there, and to do the job, and to bring them back, get them mailed back, and to run them through the machines and all that, which are really cool to watch, actually. I was there when we got the new machines, and it's really cool to watch this. I mean, it's almost mesmerizing to watch the ballots to go through and go through the little trails, and the machine automatically separates them, and it's quite the show, shall we say. But anyways, so that cost us $460,000. If you're going to say it's going to cost $10 million to run an election, what are you kidding me? No. I mean, it's not going to cost $10 million to put a budget together for them, because that's what the tax collector does. He collects the taxes, and he knows how the budget works, and he makes sure the budget works. So that's the big problem. And that's also the big benefit to the people. Because us as citizens, putting a tax collector in place, certain things will happen. Like, for example, the big thing is he is accountable to the electorate, to us, the voters, as to how that money is spent, not the county manager. That's why the county fought so hard to see if they could invalidate that election for a year and a half, because it takes the power of the purse away from the county manager. He doesn't have all these slush funds to play with. And yes, I know they are slush funds. I'll tell you about one or two of them. One of them is this very little known thing. It's called the County Investment Fund. State Constitution says if you have excess funds left over after your budget, after your year-end budget, you may take those excess funds and put them into an investment account. That's nice. You know, that way our tax dollars can earn more money, so that we can, we don't have to pay so high on our taxes, which very rarely ever happens. But it happened when I was there. I reduced the tax rate. I did. But anyways, so here we go with this investment account. So now we put all this money in this investment account. Do you know how much is in there? Well, I've told you about this in previous podcasts. Over $500 million is in the investment account. Now, if they close that account out, they'd be able to take the $500 million and put it into the general fund, and it would be, almost, well, actually, it's a little more than half of what the annual budget of Volusia County collects through property taxes. Because this year it's going to be $983.4 million to be exact, which must be, and that must be adopted by October. So how does a budget work? Well, how does taxation work? Well, the taxes work very simply here in Volusia County. We do it by millage rates. So I'm giving you a little background here. Give you a millage rate, and it's per $1,000 of your taxable value of your home. Okay, so no, so the increase. This is not. I know Dustin Wyatt. He's a nice guy and all that, and he tries to get the facts straight. But because of our 6.75% increase in our overall property values, that will increase our property taxes, according to his writing, by $5.69 per $1,000 of taxable value of your home. Not real estate value, but taxable value, which is a lot lower than the overinflated real estate value. Now, I know where the money goes. How do I know? You hear this little piece of paper in my hand. Yes. This is my tax bill for last year. County. Now, believe it or not, the biggest chunk of this money doesn't go to the county. Remember, it goes elsewhere. And you can actually add the numbers up. 6.25 mils of the money goes to, it goes to Volusia County. Then, Volusia County residents, and don't ask me why, they authorize a 0.099 millage rate for Volusia Forever. Well, this money's supposed to go to a forever fund to help support parks and save the turtles and hug a tree and all this stuff. Now, we also put 0.2 mil to the Volusia Echo. That's a ecological, cultural, historical, outdoor activity fund. In other words, that generates about $6 to $8 million a year. And let me tell you what, these two funds, they don't go to there. I've seen what happens to them, and it's written right in the legislation. They change the legislation, and voila, all that money goes right into Volusia County if they want to. They can take every single dime of it. There's nothing you can do. There's a Volusia Forever INS from 2005, which was that was an increase for some reason, and that's 0.10060 mils. Now, here's the fun part. Here's where the money starts to go away. Volusia County MSD, that's the Sheriff's Department, the Municipal Services District, that's 2.23, actually 2.24 mil, goes to the sheriff. They created, while I was in office, which I was against, the Volusia County Fire District, a whopping 4.08 mils. Oh my goodness. Here's my favorite one, the biggest of them all, the school board. Now, here's a problem. I don't have any children in school. I don't have any grandchildren in school. Yet I have to pay a school tax of 6.281 mil, which is more money from me by over $100 a year goes to the school. Well, we want better schools. We want this. We can have good schools. But you don't have to why should you tax me? Why don't you tax the people that go to the school? I don't. My kids don't. But it is there. I'll pay it. I'm not going to stop it. Anyways, St. John's Water Management District. Yay, I got to pay somebody to say that they work for St. John's Water Management District. And to believe me, Volusia County and everybody around here, whoever's listening to this, I really haven't seen them do too dang much. But they get $0.25 mil. Florida Inland Navigational District. Yes, in other words, we have a port. That's a port authority. It's not a big one, but it's there. And I have to pay 0.032 to that. And what that does is that helps to pay for the dredging of the intercoastal waterway here. Then, of course, I live in West Volusia County, and we have the West Volusia Hospital Authority, 2.175. You know, we are one of very few counties that have hospital districts. Most of them have one. It's a taxing authority. It's a taxing district for the hospital. They charge you on your property value. We have 3 of them. Only one. We out of all 12, we have 25% of all the hospital districts. Isn't that amazing? Well, we can get into that argument later. Of course, now I have to pay, stormwater and my county garbage pickup. Pardon me about that. But the grand total of my millage rate is 21.7121 mils. So, for every $1,000, I'm paying $217.12 property taxes for every $1,000 that my value of my property is at, which puts me well over $2,000 a year in property taxes. Isn't that amazing? So that's where your money's going, folks. But how can we stop that? Well, here's another little thing. We talked about the investment account. I had a bookkeeper, worked for me, kind of This lady is a genius when it comes to bookkeeping. And I didn't understand the budget my first year. And I called her. I said, can you help me with this? She said, sure. Let me look it over. She looked over the budget. She sat down and shook her head. She says, we've got to do something about this. I said, okay, what? And she pointed it. There's these, almost every single one of the budget lines, or the budgets, because there's 60 plus departments in Volusia County. Everyone has a budget. And in every one of these budgets, there's an account that ranges from a couple $100,000 to, in the tens and 30s and 40s, millions of dollars. These are called unappropriated fund balances. And I looked at it, and I said, what the hell is that? Well, that's just money that they haven't put aside to build a bridge or buy a bulldozer or put tires on trucks or whatever. It's just kind of a savings program. You mean it's a slush fund? No, it's a savings account. You're a county government. You don't need a savings account. So I talked to some other elected officials all around the state, and I was talking to them about this situation. What do we do? What do you guys do with it? Well, let me tell you what almost every single county does with those unappropriated fund balances in all of these. It's actually, at the end of the year, it's the extra money that they didn't spend on things. They just put it in this unappropriated fund balance. What does every other county in the state do? They sweep it all into the general fund. Well, nice. Because let me tell you what, when I looked at the budget those years ago, 6 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, there was over $400 million in unappropriated fund balances that needed to be swept back into the general fund. If you did that, and that alone, and you could drop the millage rate in Volusia County to just over $1 million for 10 years and still pay everything. Pay all the bills. You'd be able to actually pay more than. The county would have this huge amount. So when it comes to paying all these bills, it would be just amazing. You could drop the county millage rate to 0.1 mil and have $400 million in the general fund to fix roads, build bridges, do whatever you wanted to do. But you got to be careful because it's only $400 million, and when you're talking governments and elected officials, that money seems to fly out of the door. You know, all I could say is maybe Forrest Gump had it right the first time. You know.
Mama says stupid is as stupid does.
Yeah, maybe so. So you got to be careful with that money. That's right. So, anyways, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's a crash course in how the budget works. The county manager has already submitting his budget. It's going to go, and of course, there's a 6% increase. But of course, our elected officials, they'll want to get more. And I think it's time for us to get up there when they have their budget meetings and say, no, enough's enough. You've gotten enough. When do we have to quit bleeding to get you the money for some projects that nobody wants, like Sunrail? Another discussion for another day. Quit wasting our money. It's our money. Get it. You need money. Take it out of that investment account. Clear that thing out. Put that $500 million into the general fund. You need more money. Sweep all those unappropriated fund balances over to the general fund. Oh my goodness! You'll have $1 billion. $1 billion with a B. That's a lot of money. And then you can fix the roads. You can reduce our taxes. You might be able to actually finally do the things that you've been threatening to do with us, for us, because we elected you to go and do it. So this is what they need to do. Into the general fund, reduce our property taxes. You will then bring in more businesses. You'll bring in more citizens. Our local economy will go through the roof. And then you'll be able to generate better sales tax, build bigger houses, better houses, more expensive houses. Guess what, folks? That's what they need to do. It's called building an economy with, I don't know, common sense.